ladies and gentlemen, to the 11th. Right?
11 already?
I think we're at number 11. The 11th episode of the Alpaca Boys. This week we're going to be breaking down the Giants' schedule. We got some wins. We definitely got some losses.
Definitely losses.
Steve spatchcocked the fucking chicken because it was raining out and Bourne didn't want to make the pizza run.
That's not why. Didn't think about that.
To buy the ingredients for the pizza, which we're still trying to master as a group. We got a little tight of a time frame, but chicken, asparagus, sweet potatoes, there's always time for food. And shots and beers. So welcome. Since we're doing the Giants, and I brought us in, I don't want to go first.
Oh.
But up first, the day after my birthday, we have the Denver Broncos, which is going to be a W.
Why do you say W?
Because Drew Lock is not good.
Okay.
And I think that the Giants' defense is going to shut down. He's mediocre. I wouldn't say he's bad. He's just not good. I don't mind him. I'm just glad he's not the starting quarterback for my team.
Do you think it's going to be a high-scoring game or a low-scoring game? Or a one-sided?
I think if the Giants score 28 points, they're going to win the game.
Oh, did you say win or lose? Sorry.
Win.
Apologies. I went on autopilot there by putting a loss.
The Broncos just have so many weapons, you know?
They do, and that defense is legit. LaVon Miller coming back, because he was hurt for a good part of last year.
Yep.
I think that's a win, too.
Yeah?
Yeah, especially at home. Yeah. As long as they don't have this quarterback I was worried about coming over there.
No quarterback.
Aaron Rodgers. I'm worried about that. But if he's not there, I'd say Princeton.
Bourne, you also had the Jets beating Denver too, didn't you?
Well, for the same reason. At first, I didn't. Because I figured that they were going to trade him over there at some point, but hasn't happened yet.
Nah, at this rate, Julio will get traded likely, but I don't know. I think Rodgers will end up back.
What do you guys think? Papa V, how you feeling about the Broncos?
The Broncos, I mean, the biggest question is the quarterback position.
They do have Teddy Bridgewater.
Yeah. Teddy Bridgewater has been a solid quarterback. I mean, he was with the Jets for a while. He was serviceable there.
He was with the Jets for a couple coffees.
You traded him for something, though. Right?
Yeah,
We got a
their
third
name
from,
on the
third
cup.
from the Saints.
Yeah.
I think we got... Who did we get from that? Did we get Ashton Davis for that?
I think it was, yeah.
I did like Ashton Davis.
Right, we only had him in the
He may
preseason.
compete for corner, too, this
We
year.
only had him in the preseason.
Or was that the year after?
What? When we traded? No, I'm talking about we only had Bridgewater for the preseason of that year.
Right.
Sam Darnold's rookie year.
I'm going to go with an L. Mainly because you two went with a W.
Okay.
Just to switch it up. This could really go either way. You know, you got the whole preseason or the off season to go through to really tell where two teams are at. You know, a lot could happen with Denver, quarterback wise, like Bourne was saying.
Also, if they wear the orange jerseys, I would be a little more afraid.
You guys are home, so they would be wearing white jerseys.
That always messes with me because it's different in every sport. Or like football's the only one that's different, something like that.
Football's the only one where outside of the Cowboys, they wear colored every time they're home. I'm pretty sure the Cowboys actually wear white when they're home.
The Dolphins used to wear white all the time, but now they switch it up.
I mean, you got the home team has the choice.
Yeah.
And
that's
the way it works. It's just traditionally the home team wears the colors so that way they pop out, and
See,
the white team the white team is the white
it's
jerseys.
the opposite in basketball too.
It's the opposite in every.
Used to be the opposite in hockey, remember?
But it's still the opposite in
Growing
hockey.
up,
I thought
hockey was always white at home.
It still is.
I don't think it is. Is it?
I mean, again, you have the option, I think, and as the time has gone on, they've accumulated so many retro jerseys and stuff. They're
Rangers
fitting
always
things
wearing
in all the
blue.
time.
Devils are always wearing red. Could have sworn. Anyway, I digress.
Yeah, anyway. You know what? I'm going to go loss here, too. And I think it's more about, I just believe in, out of all four units being Denver's offense, Denver's defense, Giants offense, Giants defense, I trust that Denver defense the most out of all of them.
Really?
And so I think that's going to be. I like the Giants' defense. 'Cause I
Yeah, I
think
believe in the Giants D.
the Giants' D reminds me a little bit of the Knicks for this year, where they're greater than the sum of their parts, but at some point, talent is going to have to win, and I think that...
Yeah, that's in the playoffs. So when the Giants make the playoffs, they'll lose. Okay, I'll take that.
But Denver just that defense. I just trust it more, and I feel like this is going to be like a one-score game.
You think so?
I think it's going to be a very close game, and I think Denver's defense is going to be the X factor, especially because Daniel Jones is so
Not one
turnover
score.
prone.
Not one score total. One score difference.
Yeah, it's going to be
Okay.
like 8 points or less, kind of thing as a difference. And
So
I
the
think,
Giants cover the spread. That's a
well,
win.
we don't know what the spread is yet. You're home, so you get a +3 anyway, or you get a -3 anyway, right?
Rough.
So I'm gonna lost there. We're missing Rob, obviously. We'll get his input when
When he gets back from Denver and wakes up from his nap,
Yeah,
he's gonna be smoking a lot of weed. I
That
mean,
boy had a connecting flight in Atlanta.
Atlanta.
He flew down to Atlanta from Jersey to fly over to Colorado.
yeah,
It's like,
doesn't make sense to me. But it was probably
I
the
did
most
a layover,
economical
though,
thing to
too. I
do.
did a layover when I went to Dallas, but it was in Houston, though. So it made a
that
little
makes
bit more
sense. It's the same state. It's the same direction.
Yeah. I don't know. I never really heard of that either.
Like, even the highest bird
No, 'cause
knows that you have to fly, that you don't fly south.
Well, what does that say about flight zone? And what's going on with?
Oh, that's a good point. I also don't know how
Yeah.
much, like, he was spending. Maybe he got a
Could've
great
been-
deal on it. It's like,
yeah,
you get
could've-
such
Yeah.
a good deal that you'll deal with the layover.
Because nobody yet wants to do that.
Yeah, if it's
He
like
may have
$40
got-
round trip and you get a layover in Atlanta,
Oh,
like
yeah,
okay, like
absolutely.
I'm doing that.
Yeah.
Right, because, like, what it cost us, what, a couple hundred when we went for Josh's bachelor party? It was
For the flight,
yeah, the round
I think-
trip. It was like,
I mean, shout out to Frontier Airlines.
oh my god, no shout out to
I
Frontier
think it was
Airlines. They almost
$60.
killed us.
I think it was $60 round trip. The plane was held together with duct tape. You got what you paid for.
Frontier was good to me.
No, because I've spent $60 on more duct tape than was used on that plane.
I've been on Spirit. That was pretty shaky too. But
Like, I'm sitting there. I like the window seats, and I'm sitting there watching the wing. And I understand there's a fluctuation that it goes, but I felt like this one was fluctuating
It's not supposed
a
to
lot.
flap like a bird.
Yeah, and I wasn't still like on the effects of Colorado at this point because I had worked mad early. And we were landing at like 3 in the morning, and I had to be into the office.
You
at
went straight from the
6:30.
airport to work.
Well, I was able to stop at home because it was sort of on the way, so I could throw not flight
Airport
clothes
clothes on.
Yeah.
Makes sense. So at Washington, I'm giving Washington the win, so Giants get the L.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm saying they're going to win. They've had Washington's number now for a little while now.
Have they?
Washington hasn't had a quarterback for a while.
They got
And
Ryan
early in the
Fitzmagic.
season, I think Fitzy is... I think we're going to get good Fitzy.
I think it's
early in the season.
No,
Early in the
usually it's
season.
bad.
Yeah, it's usually the other way.
He like sandwiches, right? Like he starts poorly and then he turns it on, and all of a sudden you're like, he's going to lead us to the playoffs.
Right,
and
when
then
you're about to make
you
the
get to
playoffs.
Buffalo week 17, and I'm in attendance with Rob, and bam, he does exactly what he did in the first game. I remember. Not the
Didn't
first
Buffalo
game.
give him a whole bunch of money?
Yes,
Yep.
we did. Thank you for reminding me. Well, at that point, we were star for quarterbacks, and he did well for us. The problem, especially in Chan Gailey's spread offense, and with Stevie Johnson, who's arguably probably my favorite Bill of all time.
I think he's your favorite Bill Wideout, definitely.
Well, yeah, I mean, outside of him, Lee Evans, I liked Eric
Andre
Moulds.
Reed, I know you like.
Andre Reed, obviously, you gotta love, but he was also like, I just missed out on Andre Reed, unfortunately. Like, I became a fan really after those
After
4
that.
Super Bowl runs, and so like Eric Moulds, along with that was the first.
Eric
number 1.
Moulds, I remember him. 83, right?
No, that was Andre Reed. Was 83.
Oh. I
Moulds
thought it
was
was
82 maybe?
80, I believe.
whatever.
Lee
I
Evans.
remember him in Madden.
I'm going to give you the W here. Solely because I know Fitz is not really hot in the beginning. And I see, like, the Broncos and
He's one of your favorite players.
Washington. Yeah, he is. He is one.
He's one of my favorite players too. I love
Just because he gets, like, those old clips with him and Mangold.
Yeah, I know.
It's so funny.
Wait, who is this?
Fitzpatrick.
All right, so I think with this one, sorry, Beats, I'm gonna go with the loss here too. I'm gonna have
Yeah.
to run off with the 2 losses here. I
Like
think
we did. Nobody even mentioned Washington's defense.
that's what I was about to get to. Is again, you're gonna see a trend here. I always like to look at defenses. Y'all know I'm a defensive mindset in general. That Washington defense was great last year, and that was with a rookie guy, and that was on, and that was like the first year with that coaching staff with no off-season prep kind of thing, and I just think that defense, and was it Jared Davis, the linebacker they picked out of Kentucky?
Mm-hmm.
I think that's a potential defensive rookie of the year candidate. Behind that D-line that is just going to hunt and basically funnel everything right to him. He's shown the athleticism to go side to sideline. And again, I think this is going to be a close one again because I do think that the Giants D will keep them in it. But I'm looking at a defense that can force turnovers. I'm looking at a quarterback who hasn't proven that he won't turn it over.
In fact, the opposite. He's proven he doesn't mind turning it over.
Exactly.
He doesn't give a shit.
Exactly. So I'm going to
fucking do anything.
So again, maybe it's a trend. I think it'll be a close game, like a 1-score, 8-point game. But again, I think the defense just causes one too many mistakes by the Giants' offense.
That's fair. Warren, how are you feeling about the Falcons?
Win.
And don't forget, also, the Washington is on a Thursday night. I don't know if that, so, like...
I mean, it's not Kirk Cousins, so it doesn't really matter about prime time.
Good point.
Not traveling far either.
Yeah, but so, Bourne, how are you feeling about hosting Atlanta?
They're going to beat Atlanta. They're going to start out 3-0.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Andrew, I love your
Whoa.
offense.
Where's that coming from, besides the fact that you don't like your own team?
It's different when you're when you're not doing your own team. From the outside, you try to do as be honest as you can.
So what you're saying is you weren't trying to be honest with our
viewership,
No, I mean,
with your own team,
no, of course,
which you were supposed to be a subject matter expert in.
No, but you know what I'm saying. I look. You said I was optimistic for 8 wins for the Jets.
Well, I said that because I have them winning less.
And I'm usually negative, but
you had them winning 4. You had them winning 4 games like a week and a half before that.
Then a few different things changed.
Yeah,
yeah.
Budweiser will do that to you, man. I got you. But you know what?
Atlanta's going to be one of the worst teams this year.
Really?
I do feel that way.
Are we assuming that they're trading Julio? I honestly think that
I mean, at this point, I think he's...
At this point, I think he's
just
done.
for that phone call that he had with Sharp on ESPN.
You think he knew that he was on TV?
I don't, only because the girl in the background said maybe we should tell him that he's on live TV.
It's illegal if you don't tell him. Yeah, you have to mention.
But also, that's what she said, and it sounded like that was in real time.
That was
Part of me does think
I
that.
don't think he's going to be there, and I'm not sure even if they do nothing with Watson, I don't think he's going to play either way until this whole thing blows over with him. So I mean,
Watson, that's at Matt Ryan.
What's that?
That's Matt Ryan.
I'm sorry, I meant Matt Ryan. I still think Matt Ryan is a little. I don't know. I think he's just too old at this point.
No more gas?
Huh?
No more gas in the tank?
Yeah. I get Atlanta and Houston mixed up, sorry.
I mean, I would say that the reason Julio probably sees that too. He's probably like, I'm not going to win here.
Yeah.
Matt Ryan's like, not.
Well, and I don't think it's just. I do think Matt Ryan's lost a little bit on the deep ball, so I think that's fair. But I also don't think that Matt Ryan is washed. I don't think he's the reason that Julio doesn't think they have a real chance. I think
really?
The rest of the roster, like the roster, has underperformed almost every year outside of the year where they went to the Super Bowl, and that was when Kyle Shanahan was their offensive coordinator. And then all of a sudden he leaves for San Fran, and that offense brings in Sarkisian, I think, who I think is a good offensive mind, but that's no Shanahan. And I think Shanahan got the most out of an offense that did have its holes. I think that Dan Quinn was a great defensive coordinator that was given a head coaching job, got that defense to perform well for a year, but couldn't keep it together, and injuries really just derailed him also.
I met him once after a Jets game.
Dan Smith?
No, Dan Quinn.
Dan Quinn.
He was
Dan Smith from the
he was defensive line coach with the Jets under I think it was Mangini. Anyway.
Thanks, Mark.
I was rooting for him hard.
Mike Smith was their head coach.
Yep.
You got a picture of him, don't you?
Yeah. He's drinking Budweisers. Anyway.
Of course you are.
Anyway.
You know what? I'm also going to go in here. And this one, honestly, is because I think that, especially coming off of two losses in my schedule, and coming home, and Matt Ryan has proven to be a different type of quarterback similar to Drew Brees to an extent, not necessarily that extreme, especially as Brees got older, but he's not the same when he's outside of a dome. So I think that combined with the just hunger that the Giants are going to have if they start off slow, I think that they're going to have a good game that one. I think they're going to come out with the win on that one too.
I don't think they're going to get something done with Julio. Until we were handling some business earlier, I didn't know that they couldn't sign their rookies. So I guess they have to get something done.
Yeah, they already restructured Matt Ryan, so they kicked that can down the road. So there's no much.
Yeah, it's one thing to do it to a 32-year-old quarterback. It's a completely different thing to do it to a 30-year-old wideout.
Yeah, actually, I think he's like 35 or 36 at this point. Matt Ryan.
I thought he was only 30.
No,
Matt
he's
Ryan,
up there.
mid 30s, I think at least. 35.
Jones is like what, 32?
Good, at
Yeah,
least
Jones
someone's older than me.
Right?
Since they have to figure something out, I'll give the Giants a tentative W.
Oh, really? You don't sound very confident, though.
I'm not very confident.
That explains why
Way
you
to
sound that
pick
way.
up on that.
I'm going to give him a W, too. I think...
Oh, nice.
The
Wins
Falcons.
across the board. Let's take a shot.
true.
Wipe this
That's
chicken
true.
off
This is
my
one of the
hands.
first times I think that we've all... Oh, no, we probably all agreed on something for
No,
the
on the
Jets.
Jets, Steve was lone wolf a lot of times, but I don't think there was...
Looking over, there's one for the Dolphins
Yeah.
on week 11.
And that's why we keep the receipts.
Oh, and then 3 losses right above it. 4 losses right above
Oh,
it.
yeah, we did. I was looking at just the Greens, but you're right, to the Bills.
And to the Saints.
I feel like losses for the Jets is just low-hanging fruit, though.
Come on, bro.
Rough.
I'm just-
We beat these gentlemen up last week.
I'm sorry, but I would have beaten my own team if we didn't all of a sudden start performing like an actual somebody who shouldn't be relegated to the Canadian League, which we had been 20 years prior to that.
If we had the same
shit,
coaching staff and the same roster, pretty much, I would definitely agree with you. But
No, but you're right. You're right.
things-
So,
I think things
Giants,
change really
week 3. Here's to a win, baby.
quickly. Salute. Thanks, Born.
Yeah, at least sip your beer, biatch.
Oh, well, anyway, thinking of the next game.
You thinking of the next game?
Saints, next.
In New Orleans.
Loss.
So who do you think is going to be the quarterback?
Jameis Winston.
Jameis Winston.
Not Taysom Hill?
No.
No.
Why?
It's too limited, that offense, with him in it. You know what I'm saying?
No. I don't know what you're saying.
Alright, well, they can't do enough with him. At least Jameis Winston can make every throw. You know what I'm saying?
To the other team, too.
Yeah, but
I'm just saying, like, I'm a huge... You know,
Didn't
I'm
he
a
have,
big
like,
Jameis
a
Yeah,
record?
Winston fan.
Adam only started eating crab legs after Jameis Winston got caught with them. That's how big a Jameis Winston fan he is.
I eat up that W. But anyway, in all seriousness, I do think Jameis also is going to be the starter. It's not just a limited thing. I do think that Champagne has a soft spot for Taysom Hill, and he'll have a role, which I think, for fantasy purposes, spoiler when we cover fantasy, is going to decrease
not easy to win in
Jameis
that
Winston's
building,
fantasy impact. But he's already 30 plus. Jameis Winston is still 25, 26. He's young. He was 21, 22 coming into the league. So he was a young rookie in the first place.
Yep.
I think that he theoretically, especially if Sean Payton is as offensive of a genius as we think, and even if LASIK had that little bit of an impact on his ability to see accurately, I do think Jameis has some really good football ahead of him. I'm excited to watch the rest of his career, to be honest.
I'm excited to watch this game because I think Jameis Winston is going to throw at least 2 interceptions to the Giants, and they're going to win.
Oh!
Having faith in Jameis Winston is like having faith in Sam Darnold.
So does that mean you're also going with a win for the Giants?
Yes.
Okay.
I have faith in the Giants secondary. James
fair.
Bradbury by himself
Is a beast.
would be enough to like make you look at another half of the field. And then they put Adoree Jackson on the other half of the field. Or covering Taysom Hill in the slot. Like,
Who's your third cornerback again? Is that where Aaron
Robinson.
Aaron Robinson,
he's got the size to play outside,
could
but
be there. Yeah, but he only ever plays in the slot.
he did most.
But
of
the
it.
slot is also harder than outside because you have
Now you
you
got
don't
tight
have
ends.
you don't have the sideline to help you either. There's
Oh,
no
no.
sideline in the middle of the field.
Oh no, that's
Like
absolutely
that guy
true.
can go left or right or double move you. Like at least when you have the sideline, you have that help. You can steer a 9 route. Like you can direct them towards the sideline.
The problem is you need the speed to keep up with that 9 route going down
Yeah.
the sideline. Like there are some people who have incredible ability to move quickly inside a phone booth, but the second that you let them out of that phone booth, they're only going about 10 yards before they lose steam.
Yeah, Namdi Asamoah was the opposite. He was phenomenal at using the sideline as essentially a second defender.
And only one sideline. Once
Yeah,
he
it
went
was-
to the Eagles and they
It was
said, "Hey,
his,
can you play the
his
other?"
right? It was his right side, I think.
Yeah, he played the left corner?
He always covered the X.
I think so.
Yeah, but he was phenomenal on the Raiders.
You worried
Spe-
about what your piss smells like?
just telling it's a fact.
I said, you like asparagus? He's like, no, it makes your piss smell.
Well,
Born, you got them going 5 straight?
We're still in New Orleans here.
I'm not saying they're going to lose. That's their first loss.
Yeah, I'm losing in New
It's
Orleans.
not easy to win there, no matter how good or bad they are.
I'm going to go with the same. And honestly, I think that Saints defense is still underrated. I think they lost, like, losing Jackrabbit was losing something, but I don't think that that's big of a loss. I think that team is relatively complete and kind of like the Giants will perform better than the sum of their parts. And being home, I'm going to give them the edge. So it's going to be a loss for me for the Giants. Now we get to go to BD's second favorite team, the Dallas Cowboys.
Ugh!
Prime time too.
How dare you say that? And other people are going to watch this. That is false information. Fake news. Fake news.
What? You love
Fake
them
news
because if they
sad.
weren't around, then there wouldn't be somebody to root against so harshly. Plus, you also wouldn't be a Giants fan if they weren't around.
The reason I'm a Giants fan is because fuck the Cowboys. That's
Literally actually
that's
how
the
it
whole
became.
reason. Especially in Dallas. You know Dak can't beat the Giants in
What are you
Dallas.
talking about?
He had a serious injury. I don't.
He didn't beat him the year before that
I can't
in
see
Dallas.
him
He could beat him in
bouncing
New
back
York,
this quickly.
but when he goes into the locker room and sees Eli Manning's name on the wall,
You gotta walk there
You
first.
don't remember the last few times they played down in Dallas? They've lost every time. Like the last 3 or 4 times.
Somebody did their homework. I like it.
They're going to lose again, so that's a loss.
There we go. Bourne throwing it down. After starting off strong, he has them sputtering out a bit. Looks like you did not stay in your lane, but that's okay. We're all getting out of our lanes on
we
this.
got 4 lanes.
That's true. He's in his, at least when it comes to that. You know what? I'm going to say Dallas wins this. And the sole factor is because they're in Dallas. I think that this is going to be one of those where Dak is going to turn it over more than he usually does because I think that Giants defense will harass him. I think that Dallas defense can't be as bad as it was before. I think they were a 4-3 personnel that had an old guy in Mike Nolan come in, try to turn into a 3-4, kind of like what Rex tried to do with Buffalo when we had Jerry Hughes and Mary Williams, and then he's like, you're going to be stand-up outside linebackers. And that did not turn out well.
And who's their first round pick?
Aaron Mabin.
Do not. Wait, when? When are you talking about?
No, right,
this year?
this year.
Gregory Rousseau. Oh, wait. Oh, you're talking about the Bills. The Cowboys?
Cowboy. Oh,
Michael Parsons.
Mike Parsons, the
linebacker,
linebacker. Because they wanted that depth.
Right.
And ultimately, Dan Quinn, I just trust Dan Quinn's defense. I like how he's a very speedy, he focuses on speed, man guys on the outside.
Well, the Caucasian linebackers they have don't stay healthy, which is very sad.
Well, Sean
Lee was phenomenal. He's played like 4 NFL snaps.
They've been a phenomenal 4 snaps, apparently.
Leighton Vander Esch
Has a neck issue.
You know,
Despite the neck roll, he still has a neck issue.
That's probably why he has
Probably
that.
why he's wearing it. Yeah.
Oh, he's been wearing, I think, even since Boise State.
Yeah, he wore it in college.
I love me some Boise State. That's
I
the reason
wore
I
that.
knew
I
that
love me
was
some
the
Leighton
one.
Vander Esch. I would wear one too if I played.
So
Fuck, you might as well wear all the equipment you can. Protect yourself as much as possible.
Alright, but anyway, to finish my thought really quickly, I'm also going to go with the loss here. I'm going to side with Andrew on this one.
I forgot they had Micah Parsons until Steve reminded me. That's a L.
Micah Parsons is the X Factor?
No, Micah Parsons, Leighton Vander Esch, Jalen Smith.
They also got Jabril Cox. Remember the linebacker out of
He's a
LSU? They
safety.
snagged
He's a
him up in the
right, I
4th
wanted
round.
the Jets to grab.
Because they were like,
safety.
The 4th or the 5th.
I also think
I
that
wanted to
was
say the
one
4th they grabbed him.
Was it?
It was one of those where they
I think
didn't
they're
trust
gonna
his
win.
ability to
Keep
be
that
stout
to
on the run, but at the end of the day, you sometimes just
Could be
want
number
that
9,
dimed linebacker
Right.
or just that guy. Maybe if he's fast enough to play tight ends in the slot. Like, that's where the offenses are evolving to. So
Yeah.
getting a guy who could defend that,
Yeah.
the way that the Bills hope Trey Edmonds, for example, could
Yeah.
do. Or the way
Thank
that Derwin James is like an elite example when he's healthy.
Oh yeah.
Is like that big
This
safety.
close to being an allegedly.
This year he'll be on my fantasy team by this year. Trust me.
We do have to
I'm
come.
going to give you an offer you can't refuse. But anyway,
I wake up and there's a fucking horse in my bed.
Nasir Al-Din is signing somebody who I view, if he's able to if they're able to get the most out of what I think he can be, that's that guy that's
Yeah.
similar to that, where you can defend the big guy in the slot.
rip the chicken
off
for me?
Rip it off. Sure.
But I apologize. So, Beatty, did you go with yes or no on that?
No.
You went with a loss on that one.
Yeah.
So, Bourne, how do you feel about... Or, Steve, sorry.
I'm going with the same. I mean, same reasons as you.
I don't know what that means.
They're in Dallas. It's
Oh, yeah.
prime time. It's against the Cowboys.
They haven't beaten them down there in a while, so until they do
No,
it.
you don't drink when the team loses. That's not something to celebrate.
I thought we were drinking because
Ass.
we're all the same, and because the wife's out, so we had the permission to get a little more raucous than our normal.
Just because
obnoxious
the
stuff.
wife
Plus,
is
we're
not here
getting
tonight does
No,
not
this is
mean
also-
to.
This is also this.
Oh, that's the
This is light.
soju.
This is lighter.
Yeah.
This is lighter.
This way we can actually, because we might actually agree more now that the Jets fans aren't betting with their hearts so as much.
I have a heart.
Yeah, you're not.
I mean, if the
on
Giants
Jets.
start the season 3-2, I'll be super happy.
But in complete transparency, I just think they could be.
So up next we have Matthew Stafford and the Los Angeles Rams.
Loss.
How do you guys feel about that team? Out of curiosity.
With Stafford, I mean,
I like Matt Stafford.
Man, it could be really good.
They're gonna
With
go-
Goff, they had a good year with Goff.
They're gonna go to at least the division round.
But-
I would say.
For some reason, what's a part of me always thinks like it's Stafford. He's good up to a certain point and just can't get through. You know,
Stafford or
to
is
the
that
next level.
Is that
you know?
Stafford or is that Detroit?
I don't know.
'Cause that's
I don't
think,
know.
a very-
Stafford's never had a defense that had Jalen Ramsey and Aaron Donald on it. Like, he's never had...
That's on Jared Goff. Nobody has had a defense that has had those two on the same foot.
But he's never had anybody remotely as good as either of those gentlemen.
Can you hand me a potato?
Well,
Warm.
That's a long one.
That's what she said. Anyway. Sorry. You
You want asparagus?
Thanks.
He does. I'm okay with that.
It's good, man.
The main reason I asked,
And it's hilarious.
They also lost.
that it does make your pee smell.
They also did lose
So the
their
pineapples.
Do they?
I don't know.
I never knew pineapples made your pee smell.
Pineapples are just delicious. Don't ever talk smack about pineapples.
Nobody ever did.
I just don't. I think that defense, honestly, for the Rams is going to take a step back. I think that you're right, Ramsey.
Why
and
would you
Donald
say
are right.
that?
Because they lost their CB2 and their safety, the number one safety, to Cleveland, who needed to bolster that secondary.
That's right, Cleveland's team
And-
is fucking insane
and-
this year.
The Rams the Rams remind me a little bit of what the Saints have been
Defense is good.
doing to the extent that
Right,
they're
that's
selling out for the present and at the expense of the future. The Saints have constantly kicked the can down on the road, and that's why they're in such salary cap hell, because they were trying to keep that team together and win another Super Bowl with Breeze. It didn't work out. The Rams are trying to do something similar, and they've constantly traded first-round picks, and they've traded like that. They ate a lot of dead money with the Jared Goff deal, just to get him out. So I do think Stafford is an improvement, but I don't think they've addressed enough other things
Also-
to kind of keep it up.
How much would you take into consideration a West team coming east? West Coast.
I
team
take that
coming
into
east?
consideration a lot.
Yeah, they're playing 3 hours
Earlier.
earlier.
I don't know. I still.
Right, it's
I
one thing if you're used to waking up at 7 a.m. and getting ready for a 1 o'clock game.
I don't know.
It's another thing to have to fly and then wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning
Yeah,
to get ready for a 1 o'clock
McDermott
game.
could bring them over there early. I don't know if he's done it
McDermott?
ever before, like on a Thursday
Wait, who's
or
who's their
Friday.
coach?
Why are you talking about McDermott?
What? McVay. God, I'm starting to lose it, guys. I'm only 34 years old. But
Born, you need some of that alpha brain.
Dude.
Yeah, we're just heavy plugging Joe Rogan.
McDermott, McVay. It's yeah.
I don't even mind. He's such a
Remember
cool dude.
Mancini, remember that one year, the year that Favre was on the Jets, they couldn't win on the West Coast, so it was like the fourth time they were going out there, and Mancini brought them over there on Thursday to try to get them focused on the time change. It still didn't work.
It's not easy.
No.
I mean, it's not easy. Even when you're going across the country just for vacation, you're
Yeah.
trying to acclimate. Imagine like trying to play for professional football.
still-
game.
I mean, it's super easy
I
when I
still
go on
think LA
vacation
should
because I
enough
go
to-
to the weed store and then I fixes my sleep cycle right away.
I still think the Rams are good enough to.
Well, those guys can't do that.
Yeah, they have to play professional football while they're on these vacations.
I mean, they get drug tested once a year on 420. Well, it starts on 420.
No, they get tested in the beginning of the year on 420.
No, that's the first testing.
Is it?
Yeah. The NFL does have a sense of humor. That's what Pat McAfee said. He said that the NFL starts testing players on 420. That's the first day the season opens for drug testing. And the only players who get tested are players that, like, everyone knows are huge potheads. So McAfee always got tested on 420. And the
He
coach...
got caught one time, didn't he, with something?
I don't think so. He got in trouble the time that, like, he was announcing college football. Or he wasn't announcing the game. He was, like, doing the opening, and he jumped off of a barge.
Yeah, I do remember that.
Like,
and
he
he
got-
belly flopped, right?
Yeah,
It
because
was college football. Yeah.
he got a DUI when he was in college for doing it, or like a drunken public or something like that. It's Pat McAfee, man.
I love
He
that
did
guy.
he
Yeah,
did something
he's good.
he did something awesome, and somebody didn't appreciate it.
He's good.
So then, and he even said, he's like, last time I did this, I got arrested, and then he just like does it again.
Gotta love that.
Like
guy.
in a suit, yeah. McAfee's awesome.
Like in a full, like I think it was like a 3-piece. Like he even had
Oh,
a
yeah, the
vest
vest
or
too?
something, everything. And he belly flopped it. Like I remember watching it, be like, he did not hold back. Like one of those where you want to see somebody belly flop it, and you could hear it on TV, so you can only imagine what it sounded like in real life.
Thank you very much. Steve, thank you very much for cooking.
Yeah,
No
man.
problem.
And for spatchcocking that.
Yeah,
You
spatching
guys
the
like
cock.
it?
You spatch that cock.
I gotta teach you guys how to cut chicken.
That's what I get for not cooking chicken at all, usually.
So much cheaper and
What
better.
did I say?
It's much cheaper.
Yeah,
I wouldn't say
Yeah,
better.
it's $6 for like a rotisserie
So,
chicken.
do you like cook healthy, or like you into
He
that
does all
also?
the time.
So when you spatchcock a chicken, you're taking out the spine, and then later I'll use it to make a broth.
Yeah, smart.
That's
When
your
I make my
hangover
buffalo
cure.
chicken dip, that's what I use.
Um,
The rotisserie chicken, I just, strip that shit.
That's what I was saying. Using all the pieces that you can go by hand, take it
Yeah.
off the carcass,
Just-
and you throw that into
Just
your...
to make a bone
Yeah.
broth, it's and when you're cooking, instead of adding water to like even to beans, like if I'll cook beans,
Yeah.
I'll add the broth to the beans, and it makes it 10 times better.
No, absolutely. I use like
That's
stock
how you
in
make chicken
general.
stock.
Yeah, I'm saying in general, so I use stock as just any type of liquid when you need to be cooking with something because it adds a little flavor. I'll throw also whatever spices you
Yeah.
want into the stock, so that way you can kind of
And
make
it's
it more
cheaper, and
concentrated.
it's
go
healthy
that
for
way.
you.
Yeah.
I love that shit. That way I can just throw like cayenne pepper in there.
My problem is I just eat way too much. It's quantity.
Portion control?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't concern myself with that. Which, like, when you just eat vegetables, it's great. And to the other conversation we were having, very regular, largest poops I've ever taken in my life were like the 3 weeks I was vegan.
Really?
Yeah, and you feel empty. It's a weird feeling. You feel like there's nothing left in you because
It sounds horrible.
your body's gotten rid of it. No, it's incredible.
You feel light.
Yeah.
I wouldn't
You
say
feel-
I
that's a
don't
great-
feel,
yeah.
I don't
You
feel if I'm
feel
veganism.
light.
Like I don't do veganism, but I've had those times where it's like when I'm really into a diet and like you're really into a diet or exercise regimen and you hit a peak at some point. Like not saying you're plateaued, but you hit a peak that you're not accustomed to from your recent.
Yeah, and you
experience.
definitely don't go
You
vegan.
Yeah, but definitely not. But you feel lighter, like you feel like you're not carrying water. You don't feel like your gut's hanging over like the belt as much. Even if it's like hanging out, it doesn't feel like it's hanging over. There's just a feeling like you're more within yourself.
Yeah, it was.
But yeah, well,
It's a cool feel. Like I felt emptier going vegan for a few days in a row than I do when I do like a 3-day fast. When I do a 3-day fast, I just get hungry. But when I like am eating vegan,
Well, because when you're fasting, your
I feel
metabolism
empty.
slows down, so you're not actually like once it slows down, it realizes it's not getting anything in. Yeah, it uses some of the reserves, but it uses it at a much slower rate because it's going into fight mode. It's like, oh shit, I gotta make sure this stuff lasts. When you are eating vegetables, which is something that process relatively quickly, your body is still saying, I'm getting stuff in so I can work normally, but it's not leaving the waste that many other things do.
That makes sense.
So where were we?
We're taking these really quickly and then talking about how the Rams are coming East Coast.
And they're gonna win.
No, the Rams.
Oh, it looks like we have a disagreement, so let's hear it.
I said
I don't have as much faith in Cam Akers as the fantasy football community does.
Well, doing well in fantasy doesn't mean you're doing well in real life either.
I said the Rams are going to win too.
It tastes like cough syrup.
It's the mixture of all the flavors together.
Yeah, I think it's like a cherry at the end or something.
You know why?
Oh, you said lost.
I had cherry whiskey in there before.
Oh.
So you're getting the flavor from the liquor that was in there before.
So, Born, you're going lost?
Yeah.
Even though the Rams are coming from West East?
Yes. I just think they're just going to be pretty damn good this year, and I think that they should be able to handle that.
I gotcha. I'm gonna be honest. You know how we like talk about the one that you think you should win, the one you think you should lose.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think
That's
this is.
the one.
I don't think this is either of those. I think the Giants just straight up. I think that they're a more complete team.
Than the
Maybe
Rams?
it's yes. I think it's one of those things where the Rams are top heavy with their stars. I don't believe even if that offense clicks, I think that defense is going to take a step back, and I think the Giants, especially at home with a West Coast team coming over to them, are gonna start turning it around a little bit here.
Aaron Donald scares me. Because
your O-line is your O-line?
yeah. Exactly that reason. Like they didn't do anything to
You could have
address
used
it.
some help inside. You could have.
Yeah. Are they going to free up space and sign Trey Turner? Who knows?
I mean, that is a Gettleman guy.
That
Is a Gettleman
that
guy.
would make me very happy.
I forgot
if
he was
did
still
it.
on the free agency market.
Yeah.
And no offense, like I liked Will Hernandez at UTEP when you guys drafted him, but he just has not progressed the way that I was hoping he would. And UTEP, I know it's a jump going from UTEP to the NFL because they're a smaller school and you don't necessarily have to face the same competition, but you gotta know at some point. You gotta
you're going to practice day in and day out.
Know when to hold him and know when to fold him.
Yeah, know when to walk away, know when to run. I was playing poker the other night, and I did count my money at the table, which is how I knew when I should probably tell them I was leaving in 15 minutes.
You're doing well?
Yeah, I made $15.
Nice.
Turned a Lincoln into a Jackson.
And you did it having fun. That's the important thing. I feel like that's the big thing, is you're paying for the experience.
Ripping the bong at the table, like... I wasn't at the casino. I was at my boy's house.
Oh, I'm thinking they're like, oh, you went to like what? Not Sands, whatever it's called now.
Park. No, I went. So Parks is the one that's like.
That's the
30 to 40 minutes from me.
Yeah, it's closer. I just don't like it as
Sands-
much as Sands.
Sands is like.
Standpoint.
Sands is much closer to you. You could probably get to Sands in
Sure,
about
'cause
a
I'm
half hour.
further north.
But you're right on 287, and Sands is right off of 78. So you jump on 287 for like 10 minutes, then you're on 78 for 15 minutes, and you're at the casino.
Something like that. Okay, I got you.
Like, I would have to drive up 287 to get to 78 to then go to the casino.
I got you. I haven't been.
I like Sands more too because the poker is right on the floor. Like
Yes, you feel
it's
like
in
you're
the
part
middle
of the
floor.
casino. Like
Super annoying that time 2 people hit slot machine jackpots while we were trying to play poker though. Super annoying that time.
oh, I didn't remember that one. There was a phase where I was listening to headphones, and then there was a phase where I was like, no, that distracts me from being able to read people. And then I realized I can't read people that well, so I'm just gonna go back to listening to my music and playing in my own space.
There was a time, I'm pretty sure you came with us. I know I was there with Christian, and there were like 3 guys that were there from Brooklyn.
Yes,
And
I
it was like
remember that.
all of us that was like the poker table.
That was
we were
one of
just
the best.
bullshitting.
That was one of the best
having-
times that Union Christian had
at the casino. Yeah, that was a
Christian
great
and I had.
time.
Yeah, man, that was.
It's always a good time. It just depends on if it's a good time that costs you anything or not.
Well, it's always going to cost you at some point. The question is it just liver damage? Is there a financial dent as well? But so.
Say that louder.
I'll take liver damage over financial damage first.
Now that's the most American thing I think anybody could probably say.
Yeah, right. For a country that does not have centralized healthcare, like
Yeah, no.
We don't take
we
care of
do not
ourselves.
take care of ourselves.
No.
So you know, COVID only killed people with more than 2 comorbid, or I shouldn't say only.
Well, I was about to say that's casting a
I
wide
shouldn't say
net
only.
there.
I shouldn't say only. The people who were the most affected by COVID had more than 2 comorbidities.
And what is a comorbidity?
A pre-existing condition.
Okay.
So like obesity and heart disease, and then someone caught COVID.
No speed in the neighborhood.
These fucking guys were watching Sopranos before.
What are you giving
So
her?
Steve, you and I were split on the Rams. You said it's a L, I said it's a dub.
Okay.
Why'd you say it was an L, man? That hurts my feelings.
Not good.
I think Stafford
Yeah,
is by the middle of the season.
thank you.
I think he's going to turn it
It's
on.
gonna be good. Yep.
I really like Matt Stafford.
I
I think he's a huge upgrade over Jared Goff.
Yeah. Even though you guys are home, I think they're just on a roll.
I think.
I think Kenny Galladay is going to work with the Giants D, though.
Yeah. Think
Yeah, I think he's going to tell them certain ticks or certain tells that Stafford has. Maybe he taps the ball in the back before he throws it deep, and like
You
in
might
the
know
middle
the
when he
finger movement.
Yeah.
Once he reads the fingers.
Yeah, he knows how he fingers them.
He's like, one guy paints his fingernails black, so that's the guy.
Alright, so
I always think when players switch teams and then they play them that year, the revenge
Shit, I
game.
forgot. Did Adam go upstairs?
yep.
I mean,
I will survive. Do you guys hear me yelling at Zeke or no?
no.
No.
But I can imagine that you felt like Benny after he laced up them Chuck Taylors and had to go and get that baseball signed by Baby Ruth.
Honestly, what it was is that they didn't see me when I first got into the garage, and I was like, please be eating still when I get out. And they were, but then the little one saw me. And then once the little one saw me, the big one saw me. And then I was like,
You could
be
have
easy,
picked the little
Zeke,
one
be
up.
easy, Zeke. And then he
He
like
run
started
after you?
sniffing me. He started barking, but he didn't like tackle me. He just came up, put your hand out, started sniffing it while I skedaddled a little bit towards the basement, and then closed the door.
You made
He's too handsome.
Yeah, and honestly, it's one of those where I'm not afraid of him. I'm just honestly when
I am.
he's just about as heavy as I am. So at some point, it's a coin toss, and I think his
The
muscles.
trick is trying to make him know that you're not afraid of him. Then you'll be fine.
But he's scary.
He was standing to his back last week and he fucking headbutted him in the ass or bit him. I don't know how that worked.
I was surprised about that because I got no ass. So the fact that he was able to find
You got no ass?
Yeah, so that was like right on his taint.
this thing is like
Right on the
it
grundle.
goes inward actually if you were to contour it.
Right in the tank grundle.
You gotta do some more squats, man.
What'd you say? They're gonna.
Oh man,
they're gonna,
that's one thing I
they're
don't
gonna
do.
lose to.
Yeah, Steve thinks they're gonna lose.
Rams are gonna win.
I think they're gonna win.
You think the Giants are gonna win, Didi?
I think the Giants are gonna win.
Okay, so we're split there, and now we've got
This is an interesting.
Sam
one.
Darnold coming back to MetLife, just not.
This
playing
better
the
be
Jets.
L's across the board.
You know the game that they.
I mean,
showed-
dubs.
You know the
L's
game.
for the
I was gonna
Panthers,
say.
dubs for the
I was
Giants.
about to say, oh my God, let's hear about how pessimistic this fan
You know
is
the
here.
game that they shouldn't lose, but they are gonna.
But they do.
It's not this one, but
Ah,
it's gonna.
It's coming up.
what an original line.
No,
Stay
they're-
tuned.
They're gonna beat the Carolina Panthers.
You gonna beat them?
They're gonna beat the Panthers. Yes.
You think?
Yes.
Alright.
Sam Darnold going back to that house of horrors. Come
I
on,
agree
man.
with Andrew and take back what I said because of the soju. I think it's gonna be W's across the board. Better be W's across the
I
board.
got a W.
So we have more soju because we might need it.
We got plenty.
Alright, so I think we're just going to keep it nice and short for this one. I'm going to go with a W as well, I think.
And the reason is Sam Darnold, right? I didn't want to say it.
No,
I didn't want to bring
I
up
just
Sammy
said
Poo
straight up,
but
I just said.
I'm looking at it right now. I think that if you were on the road, it'd be closer, and it'd be closer than a coin toss. But at home, I do think that Giants defense is able to hold up. That being said, I do like Carolina's offense because here's the thing: they do have DJ Moore, who we all can agree is a stud.
I like DJ Moore. I don't know stud, but
Stud at a wide
He's good.
receiver. I would say
He's got breakout potential, that's for sure.
yes. He reminds me a lot of Stephon Diggs, honestly. Stephon Diggs and Steve Smith. This slightly undersized, but he plays with an edge, and you just love the way that he plays with that edge.
did you bring this for you?
I brought those three because they were the three boxes that I saw in the
This one, then.
The Christmas one is good, though.
Thank you for your sacrifice. I'm sorry Zeke bit you.
He didn't bite me this time. He bit me last time. Well, I don't
He
even think
headbutted
bit
you last time.
It was something that was hard. So
It was his
The
entire
good thing
snout.
is, he only has his baby teeth. He doesn't have his real teeth. So
Really?
if he bites you, you'll be fine.
I'd probably still get very
No,
upset.
because then it'll fall in, then it'll get stuck, and then he'll grow his real ones, and then he'll come back for more because he'll have a taste of blood.
He's not growing. His baby teeth are fucking tiny, tiny.
Oh, that's good to know.
At Kansas City, they're gonna get lit up.
Before we do that, at Kansas City.
Yeah, just put L's across the
We're
board.
gonna-
Let's move on. They're playing Kansas City.
They're
They're the
playing Kansas
Giants.
City. In
For
Kansas
another
City.
one, or
I guess our.
Oh, because we have them all winning at Carolina.
That was what this one was for, but then we
Yeah.
also have them all losing at Kansas City.
So I guess let's drink half? I don't know what to tell you guys.
You know what? This one's for both because we got back-to-back
Whatever the
losses.
spread is in that game, I'm gonna probably have to jump on that. I don't know.
All right, so now we have the Raiders coming East Coast.
The
to
Raiders.
Giants. And we know, let's hear about from John Gruden, fan club president over here.
I love John Gruden.
He's overrated.
Ooh,
He's-
those be fighting
He's
words at
won
the bar.
more. He's won more Super Bowls than the Jets have in the last 25 years,
All right,
30
and
years,
he won that.
That's not
his
saying
one
much.
Super Bowl is with all of Tony Dungy's players. So
and it was against his old team. What's your point?
I'm just saying, don't worry about it. It's all overrated. That's all.
Does your coach look like a horror movie star from the 80s?
Who's got a worse haircut, him or
The owner,
Mark Davis?
Yeah.
Mark
Ooh,
Davis
Mark
looks
Davis.
like John Gruden was left in the microwave for too
Mark
long.
Davis by far. He looks like fucking this right here.
He's an idiot.
That's what his head looks like.
Why
We need
does
to
he
bring
get
we need
Somebody
to bring
tell
that
that brother
graphic
about a
up.
fade or
This is
something.
Mark Davis right here. Is that all I got him? Is that
Like, straight up, it has to be fake.
We gotta bring that graphic up. That's the two of them next to each other, and
Yeah.
and someone says it like Mark Davis looks like someone left John Gruden in the microwave for too long. I'll see if I can find out.
I was gonna say, there must be
If
a
I
meme.
can find it, you guys will know.
I'm just saying, like, at some point, that's gotta be a toupee, right?
I don't know, man. Trump's hair is real too. Like that's really his
I'm
hair.
torn on this one. I'm not sure.
What about the hair?
They
No,
use
you
it.
can't.
They use his hair
We're
for his
concerned
wig.
with the hair.
That's because they use his hair for his
We're
toupee.
concerned with
That's
the hair.
The only way that's his real hair is if they use his own hair for his toupee.
I mean, like, if I grew my hair out, I could have an ill Mark Davis haircut, though. Because I'm fucking bald.
Ill Mark
So
Davis.
if my
Mark
bald,
Davis's haircut looks ill.
if my yeah, okay, poor choice of words. I didn't mean to say that he looked like a cancer patient who may
I
or may
wasn't
not
going there.
have been in the radiation too long.
I definitely was not going there, but anyway.
That's what a microwave is. It's radiation.
That's
You
true.
should stop right there.
Okay.
Just kidding. All right.
Commercial break.
Doing a Gary Coleman on Keith
I'll give him a
Hernandez.
W.
Why is that, Steven?
Coming across the country, I think the Giants are really going to push to have a win before the bye.
The Rams are coming across the country, too. You gave them an L.
The Rams are just way better.
Way better.
Than the Raiders? Okay.
Yeah.
I could see that.
I'm
And
still.
that's it. That's fucking, and that's it, and that's that.
I don't know.
Adam, how are you going?
I have no idea.
So I think the Giants are going to win this one.
I might have
I'm not as big of a believer in John Gruden, unfortunately for you and other John Gruden supporters. But ultimately, I just look at I like Derek Carr. I don't love Derek Carr. I think that defense. I think the Giants' defense, especially with the time traveling over to the East Coast, is going to affect their offense. And that defense has been so damn bad that I think this might even be one of those games where Daniel Jones goes off for like
That's a good
350, 4 total scores, including maybe a rushing score, and might not even turn the ball over.
Yeah, actually.
If
That's a tall order, my
if
guy.
there's one game that he's not going to turn the ball over
That
on, I'm going to say it's this game.
I agree with that.
So I'm going to go win on because of all those factors. And Boren, sounds like you're agreeing.
Yeah, you convinced me pretty good on that
That's
one.
right. That's right, I did. So the question is Matt going to be optimistic enough to drink some more soju, or is he going to be the wet blanket?
You guys know how there's that every team has that game that they lose that they're supposed to win, and that game that they win that
That's
they're
not
supposed
the
to
one.
lose.
Come on, man.
Don't hit that. You better not beat that drum for a third time now. You're going to beat that drum for a third time.
I guess
yeah,
I'll
you
give the
said
Giants a
last
W
week,
so we
you
could take a
said
shot. I'm just not too confident in it.
Okay, so it's a shaky W. So we're talking about like
Yeah.
a 2.5 spread. Is what we're talking about. At home, a 2.5 spread.
We're talking like a push.
A push at home?
A pick'em?
A push at home?
I mean, a 1.5 point spread, a 2 point spread's a pick 'em anyway.
So,
Alright, the week after that.
well, then we have a bye, so we know they're not going to lose.
Let's not
wait,
waste
we gotta
any
take a
time
shot.
on this one.
Is there more soju?
Tampa, that's a loss right there.
That's definitely a loss right there.
We're going to drink all for the Giants, that way we stop drinking for the Bills and we can sober up for work tomorrow, right?
I do have 12 hours on this editing to do.
And you actually work tomorrow now that we moved to Thursday recordings.
Yep.
So you got to be a somewhat responsible adult as long as your phone doesn't die and your alarm goes off.
I did not mean for that
What
to
the hell was that
happen.
about, by the way?
His phone died, so it was a long
My
time
phone
ago.
died, so I was like an hour late to work.
No, but that's because I know where you were that.
You opened the store?
Yeah.
Where were you?
No, there was another
Was it
manager.
Pat's?
that
He was at the pub
No.
drinking and
Oh, it
dancing
was
and everything.
boring.
Yeah, he was.
I was enjoying myself.
Like his plane was going down or something. Anyway, nothing wrong with that. I was just a little surprised because you said you had to work the next day. That's all.
I mean, I went to work. I was.
Yeah,
You know that liquid comment you get that you can go to work and everything will be fine the next day?
Oh, yeah, that's-
And before you even wake up, before you even go to bed, like you're about to lay down to bed and you're like, this is not going to be enough sleep.
Yeah, but
So, see, what happened was, like,
When you
I
know
put-
you're old when that finally becomes your
I put
realization
my head
before
on the
you go to
pillow
bed.
and I rolled
It
over
happens
10 minutes
often.
late.
Like, you just know you're screwed. No matter what. You're like praying to God that it only takes 6 Advil to get back to
yeah, at
bed.
the time it's like, oh, that's future Andrew's problem. But then we're
And then you become future Andrew.
So I put my head on the pillow at about 3:30, 4 o'clock in the morning, and then I rolled over 10 minutes later, and the clock said 10:45. So, like, I feel like that's not really on me, but I don't know who that would be on,
Right.
so it's got to be me,
Right. Totally understandable.
right? Like,
Totally.
I guess it's Mr. Jameson's fault, but, like, he's not here.
When was this?
I blame your bartender.
this was Friday, I believe. Yeah, Friday night. I believe,
No,
right?
Saturday night. Saturday
Yeah.
night.
Oh yeah, because I had the baby shower here. That's why I didn't.
That's
I
what
was
it
gonna
was,
go
yeah.
find you guys, but I couldn't. There was no
Yeah,
way.
good decision.
I was talking to my new
Good
friend.
decision by
and
you.
I was talking to my new friend, and he decided he did some pretty. He asked a couple interesting questions. Leave it at that. It was pretty funny though.
You save those for the after hours.
Tell that story on the after hours, all right?
I don't know if we're doing after hours, man. We may just have to cut through straight to the Bills. I also didn't realize what time it was right now.
Unless we save the Bills for next week.
L's.
Well, we can go with this. We're going at Tampa here. It's a night game.
Yeah, L.
Goodbye.
What, you think Tom Brady's going to be sleepy?
Listen, I think this is the game where Giants fans are like, oh man, Danny Jones is not Eli. He's not Eli, man. I don't know. It's just this is where Giants fans will start to question
Why, 'cause
whether
he can't
Daniel
beat
Jones
Tom
is the
Brady?
guy or not.
If
He can't be Tom Brady.
Come on.
he's not wrong. He's not wrong. The Giants media
I mean,
and
the
the
fans,
fans,
yeah,
we're
you're probably
going to
right.
give
They
them
will,
shit.
They will do that, but I don't think that's fair to Daniel Jones.
I didn't say
The
that.
thing that stops Tom Brady is an aggressive pass rush, and the Giants do have an aggressive pass rush.
I'm excited
But-
to see Aziz, man. I think he's going to do really well for you guys. I was really pumped about that guy coming out.
Yeah, I know.
He was my favorite.
Yeah,
He
you
was one of my
turned me
favorite
on to him
players.
when we were doing all that pre-draft stuff.
I'm going to go with a loss here, too. I want to find a way for them to win. I want to say this will be the one that, like you say, there's one that you don't expect to win that you win. If Tampa was coming to New York or New Jersey, I would I actually would take the Giants on this one at this point. But going to Tampa, that defense in Tampa, I think, is still going to be phenomenal. I think Todd Bowles has a great, you guys know firsthand, Todd Bowles knows how to run a defense.
That's it.
He's one of the few guys that runs an effective 3-4.
And this is coming from the guy who literally lives and breathes 4-3 unless you bring a 4-6 to his door.
Nah, the 4-6 is only good within the 25-yard line.
They all play.
I've seen you in Madden call it at the 50.
That's on 4th down.
No, on first.
I mean,
And
sometimes,
second.
sometimes you gotta do
I've
what you
also seen
gotta
you
do.
call goal line, so I guess that
You
is
gotta do what you gotta do.
When you talk about video games, it's a very different world.
When you know they run the ball, you stop it.
All right.
I don't know what you want from me.
So, Beatty, why don't you kick us off? Because I think we all know where you're going with Philadelphia coming to the town. Even though you love Devontae Smith, and the Eagles did jump the Giants for Devontae Smith.
Yeah, but who's getting them the ball? Exactly.
No,
Win for the Giants.
That's a win. I think they're going to be the worst team in football this year.
The Eagles?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't think so.
One of the worst, at least.
I like Jalen Hurts. I think he's good.
You think he's a good football player, or you think he's a good leader? Because they're very different qualities, and the reason I
What makes you say he's not a good leader?
I think he's a phenomenal leader. I think that he's a better leader than he's a quarterback.
Really?
Yes.
You don't think he kept them into the last half, 3 or 4 games that they played? You don't think he played well?
I think he played decently. I mean, he still completed around 50% of his passes or so.
He kept up with Justin Herbert in that game at the end of last year.
I want to say that was more on Justin Herbert having a bad game. I do think that, if we're talking about their current status and trajectory, Herbert is a league above Hurts.
Yeah.
He kept up with him, though.
But the thing is, I respect Hurts' ability. He seems to be. He commanded that locker room in Alabama and handled that transition to a very phenomenally, incredibly professionally for a kid who is 19, 20 years old.
Yeah, for a kid.
He then went to Oklahoma after both Baker Mayfield and Kyler Murray won the Heisman and was a Heisman finalist with that offense with 1 year to learn it. We all also saw that viral one of him squatting 400 something pounds as a freaking quarterback. It's ridiculous. Kind of like when Brady Quinn bench press like that. But he did
whatever
that,
happened to Brady Quinn?
and then he goes to Philadelphia, and with all that crap turmoil that is going on there, that franchise was in the shitter last year.
Still is.
It still is, but they were obviously in that horrible transition where they were still getting rid of the old waste in Wentz and moving on to the new waste in Hurts. And again, he was able to rally that team, and that was a locker room of grown men that said, I have enough faith in Hurts that I'm willing to dispel the kid who was looking like an MVP less than 24 months ago in Hurts. Because before he got hurt, in Wentz. Because before he got hurt that 1 year,
you were close.
looking like an MVP candidate. And then yes, he never was able to regain that, but to be able to capture and lead men, that I always say that's a skill when it comes to coaching and whatnot. That's also it's an requirement if you're going to be a quarterback. And so that's what I mean. I think his leadership is there. I just think that his skill set is more limited than his leadership ability.
Based on what?
Based on watching what I've seen in college and in
Is
the
it
NFL.
short area, long ball? What do you think is lacking?
It's just the feel in the passing game. I think that he's a better passer, for example, than Tebow. If you want me to try to put him on a spectrum, I think he's a better pure passer than Tebow. I think he's a better pure athlete than Tebow too. I just think that when you watch him, it doesn't seem the passing game doesn't seem to come as naturally to him. It's one of those like cliches, and I hate saying it, but it's like he's a football player. He belongs on the field. He belongs playing quarterback, but it's almost like Lamar Jackson when he was a rookie. It's going to be limited. I don't think that you can open up the playbook as much with Jalen Hurts as you can with other quarterbacks. And if you're going to win a Super Bowl, you need to either have, if you're going to have a quarterback like that, you need the 85 Bears defense or the 2001 Ravens defense. You need something like that.
I get that.
To balance
I get that.
That's a tough ask.
I see where you're coming from with that. I tend to believe, though, that like it's kind of, I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt, and those things, those instances that make you feel that way, I think because of that happened because of exactly what you were explaining. He jumped from offense to offense to offense. He's still kind of acclimating. I think he has a long way to go, and I think he can get there. So
but is he going to get the chance? And is he going to get the chance
he
in
will.
Philly? It's a two-part question. Will he get the chance in the NFL? And I think he'll get the chance in the NFL because of his pedigree, being a second-round pick and being a Heisman Trophy finalist, and being he was a national trophy champion. Like Alabama won the championship the year before. Tua came in and won that year afterwards. Like he is a champion in college. So it's like, let's not just throw that away.
From the accolades you just listed, that's Tim Tebow light. Tebow, like, he almost did everything that Tebow did.
Yes, I can get that.
And, like, Tebow's a leader of men.
No, but I don't. He was a leader of college young men.
He was a leader of criminals. Call it what it is.
He was a leader of... I'm not going to call that entire roster criminals.
There was a criminal.
There were a couple of people with checkered past, but let's be honest, there's not a single roster in
there was
college
that
or the
offense
NFL
and
that does
Tim
not
Tebow
have
praying
somebody
for them.
with a checkered past. Like, we all have our own histories that you can argue other people would call
especially to
check.
play this type of sport, like you're bound to. You're lucky if
you can't be a nice boy and play this sport. You need to literally want to destroy the person on the other side of the field
thinking about.
when you're between those lines. When you step off, yes, you can be a gentleman. Look at Mean Joe Green.
Who was the D
He
lineman
doesn't
with the
even-
head
he's a
slap?
complete
Who was the D
Deacon
lineman?
Jones.
Yeah, what a beast. He's like, I just hated white people.
He did
Quarterback
not
was always
say
white.
that.
Yes, he did.
Did he?
Yeah.
I sure hope so.
But also,
Otherwise,
look at
we
the
lost-
time. Look at the
otherwise, we
time frame
lost
when
a
he
lot of
played.
our viewers.
Look at the time frame when he played.
Please look that up before we watch this, otherwise we might have to cut that part out. If we're good, then we're good.
He said it on NFL films.
All right, if he said it, he said it.
If he said
He used to concuss people with
I
a
know
head
that
slap.
he intentionally hated them. I wasn't going to bring complexion into that discussion. If he did, then he did. But yes, he definitely did concuss people back when they didn't care about concussions nearly.
That's why they outlawed the
did.
head slap.
So with the Eagles coming to town, I think this is going to be a win. I don't hate the Eagles as much as you guys, but I do think they're going to be one of the more underperforming rosters.
Wow.
And a big part of it
It's
is
gonna be
because
four-
think
I
it's
don't hate them.
5 in a row, we're all green.
Really?
I just don't hate. I don't hate them. I just don't think they're going to be
5 in a
very good
row.
at all. They're going to
They're
be
gonna be
very
very
not good this
there
year.
They're
you
going to be
go.
very not good.
There we go.
Who's going to be more not good? The Eagles or Houston?
Oh,
Houston.
Houston, by far.
Houston.
I don't know.
By far.
I don't know. I really don't. It's a tough one for me.
All right, let's start with this coaching.
Who's their new coach for Houston? What's his
Exactly.
name?
David Culley, but the fact that I had to tell you that should tell you all you need to know about that.
Exactly.
So that goes to the Eagles.
Okay, but who? All right. How about the new coach for Houston?
Quarterback.
For the-
We know it
the
might not be
Eagles?
Watson, so if it's not Watson, we got Hurts and who knows? Davis Mills. They're the third round pick.
Jalen Hurts is there?
No, for Philly.
Dude, here. Look.
No.
We're talking about Philly versus Houston.
Behind,
We're talking about Houston or Philly.
Houston.
You have Davis Mills and Tyrod Taylor.
Oh, that's right, Todd.
They brought Tyrod Taylor, then they drafted Davis Mills with their third round pick, which was their first pick because of Bill O'Brien trading those other picks for. They
gotta feel
traded
bad for Tyrod
Laramie
Taylor.
not Laramie.
Yeah, me too.
Gotta feel bad for him.
I love Tyrod when he was with the Bills. I have a jersey of his. Granted, it was one of those cheaper ones, but I wanted a red jersey, so I wanted a red Bills jersey. I got me some Tyrod, and Tyrod was the
love
quarterback
Tyrod
when we
Taylor.
broke the streak. When we
Right.
finally
You
made it
guys
to the
started
playoffs,
coming up,
17, 18 years. That's something. So I understand that was a team effort, but you're gonna always remember the quarterback that broke that streak for you when you go through that type of a streak.
Yeah, it's
and
like the first
going
girl
to
you
be
hook up
Tyrod.
with under the bleachers.
Listen, if it's fucking
Testaverde with the Jets.
if it's
Oh, I
Zach
thought
Wilson
Vinny
this year,
Testaverde
I'm
was the
not
first girl I
still
hooked
not
up with
buying
on
his
the
jersey
Lakers.
for a long time.
Zach Wilson?
That's a weird name.
I'm not gonna buy it. The
Bro.
next jersey I buy is for a retired player.
I think I'm buying.
It's the
Mekhi
smartest way to
Becton.
go. That's actually a good
Darrell
question.
Revis.
No, I think I'm safe with a Mekhi Becton.
That's a question. That's actually a good question. How do you guys feel about Darrell Revis? Only because, like, obviously he was great for you, and he came back at some point, but you obviously had a very bitter breakup
He
in
got
between
sour,
those
he
two
got
things.
sour on me when he came back the second time. The
Anytime.
only reason he did that is because they gave him the exact, like a penny more than anybody, than the next team did.
And he still had at least one more good year with you. Cromartie fell off the
Not-
cliff a lot faster.
Well, not-
you brought him back
last
hoping
game
that
of
would be
the
that,
year-
and he fell off.
Last game of the
Yeah.
year against you guys, I think he could not fucking stop Sammy Watkins, and it was on intermediate.
Sammy Watkins
shit
was one of those guys
every
though that
fucking-
put Darrell one of the only receivers to
Yeah,
ever
but
put Darrell Revis
the
on
most
skates.
important game
Honestly, both of
of
them,
the year-
Stevie Johnson
paying him that much.
and Sammy Watkins, were the two only
That
ones
was-
that I've ever seen with
His
regularity.
first year back.
Keep him uneasy. I won't say put him on skates like went off for like 150 or even 100, but
Right.
going off for 80 yards on 5 catches for Revis was going off.
Those
Yeah,
Because
that's what I'm
Revis was
on,
like, you'll get
Two
3
guys-
catches for 20 yards,
Two
and
players
that
to
was
blame
like an
that game were
average.
Revis and
Which means
Fitzpatrick.
they were a lot worse than that.
Yep.
In that game, the two guys that were to blame for the most part were Revis on defense
And Fitzpatrick,
Fitzpatrick
on
on
offense.
offense.
Mostly Fitzpatrick throwing those 3
Yeah.
interceptions. Because he started off with 3 touchdowns, and then threw 3 interceptions in like the last
For
4 drives.
Yeah, and that one was in the end zone to Decker, which is terrible.
Yeah. That was a good. Remember when it was Decker and Marshall and both your wide receivers? It reminded me of like
Yeah.
when
That was a
Chicago
good
had
duo.
Alshon
No.
Jeffrey and Brandon
Couldn't take
Marshall, and it was like
advantage
the
of
1 year Cutler was phenomenal. Was when you gave
That was
him
the last
literally the
year
2 tallest
Ash-
human
Alshon
beings
Jeffrey
to
was
play
good.
wide receiver. Who?
That was the last year that Jeffrey was actually good.
Wow.
Yeah, he hasn't been healthy really since then.
This
has
is
he?
interesting.
Great in Madden though, 98 spectacular catch.
Yeah, that definitely helps.
So
Especially when you don't play all Madden because it cheats.
So the online difficulty is all pro. If you go against other people,
Oh,
that's
damn.
the default online
That
difficulty.
explains why they torch it, because I do too.
This next one's kind of interesting.
Because it's at Miami.
It's a win.
No,
What are you talking about? Interesting.
No, if they were home, I
Oh,
was
I
giving
think
them
this is definitely a no.
you have him going with a win?
Yeah.
So Beatty's going to go with a win. Steve's down. All right, Andrew, you go first. Sorry.
You think Tua's going to tear up that secondary?
No, but if they were home, I would give them an easy layup win. But no, I'm going to give them a win still. But I think they're going to struggle. I really do.
You think it's going to be like,
Okay.
a,
One of those,
like
like,
a 16-13
last
type
drive-
of
last
games?
drive
Yeah,
of the game.
13-10, something like that. It's just going to be one of those
Okay.
shitty ass games.
All right.
Like an ugly win, but you take it.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2.
Someone please take it out, man. There's a lot of soju very quickly.
I mean, you don't have to do it every time. You know,
No,
that's
I'm
right.
gonna go.
Rules
L.
are rules,
I'm
boy.
gonna go-
Rules are
I'm
rules.
going L here.
Especially when you establish them after the Jets.
I'm going L here because
Thank God.
soju. No.
I mean, that's a very valid answer, but I don't think that's the one. you
That's
want.
why I switch up. Like,
I think
the
it's one of
Dolphins
those
are going to
games
get
where
the L.
the Giants are expecting a win and they don't. Miami, they could be with their roster, they could go one side or the other, especially with Jalen Phillips this year. Now their front D could be
I'm
pretty good, pretty damn good.
I mean, I could see it going either way, 50-50. It's just going to be one of those ugly
It
ass
all-
games. I
right.
could just,
I'm way more scared of Jerome Baker than anybody else on their defense.
Really?
Yeah, Jerome Baker's a monster.
But I'm
He's
just
an
gonna give
underrated
against the
linebacker.
Giants.
A little
I
undersized,
just
but
think
he's
they're
a little
gonna. I
underrated.
just think they have a little bit.
I'm not sure, but I
Chance.
think he had like 150 tackles 2 years ago.
Well, so
That's
did David.
You get a lot of cleanup work behind a very porous D line.
Terrell Basham, like last year
Basham, yeah.
on the Jets,
Yeah.
I think led the league in tackles.
No, Hewitt. Neville Hewitt.
Hewitt, right.
Neville Hewitt. I
Yes.
don't think he led the league, but he was like,
He was up
like
there.
I had him
He
in
was right
fantasy
up there.
because he was giving me
Yeah,
10 plus points because he was averaging
That's-
almost
8
like
plus
every
why-
play
tackles.
that motherfucker.
That's why
Tackle.
Adams did good for us in
And guess
fantasy
who?
also.
And guess who he plays for now?
The Jets?
Nope.
The Bills?
Yep.
Nice.
Who?
He is what?
Who we talking
Tyrell Adams?
Um,
Tyrell Adams?
I forget. I think Tyrell Adams. He was
Tyrell
a linebacker
Adams.
that was for a little bit when
He
Leonard,
outscored Roquan Smith down the fantasy
when
playoffs.
when Leonard was banged up, he was like, oh no, he wasn't. He was on the Texans, and so when Cunningham was banged up, he was playing a lot of middle linebacker and just was like that tackle vacuum in the
And
middle.
then didn't give up the starting job. Because it was like week 1, 2 tackles. Week 2, 1 tackle. Week 3, 2
They also
tackles.
played a bit. They also
Week
played
4, like 16 tackles and a sack. And it's like, wait a minute.
They also played a 3-4 in Houston, so you had the
So
two
you
of them
need the
in, and then
second
they
down.
were both the sub package guys, so they were in there a lot.
So how do you think the Giants are doing?
I'm going to say a
Against
loss
Miami.
here, and the reason I do is because I think in general, this is a rule of my thumb. When you've been a Bills or a Jets fan, you guys know this. traveling down to Miami in December, going from that cold to that humidity and that heat, that impacts your team significantly.
I didn't think about
And like
that.
if for example, the Bills are playing them early, and even early, I'm questioning if that's going to be a problem in December. I think it's going to be a significant issue, and I think Miami, because I don't
It's hard
trust
to breathe in humidity.
Right, I don't like to. I've been on record with these guys. You all know I'm not a big Tua believer, but I do believe in Brian Flores. I believe in that defense, and I believe in that December
Flores.
New York, New Jersey to Miami.
That Brian Flores turned
hangover,
into a
if
pretty
you
good
wanna
head
call it
coach.
that.
He really is.
He is.
Flores? Yeah.
Flores, honestly, Flores
Yo,
and
you
Judge.
guys have a scary division, man. The whole AFC East is scary.
We have some good coaching.
It's coming up.
We look like we have some
It's coming
good
up.
coaching.
Yeah.
Except
No,
for us.
I mean, yeah, right now, except for us. But I mean, there's
Miami
potential
also
there.
overachieved. Let's be honest.
I did
Let's
give him
overachieve.
8 wins.
Miami also overachieved because that defense. Here's the one thing: the one stat that I love, but it's also the least transferable year over year, is turnovers. Turnovers are not something like outside of the very rare defenses like the Ravens from 2000 or whatnot. You're not going to find those teams that are able to create those amount of turnovers year after
Other
year
side.
after year.
That's the soju.
So the Miami
Yeah,
defense,
yeah.
the Miami defense when it came
No,
to
you
yards
were
given
luckily.
up, the Miami defense when it came to yards given up and all that stuff, they weren't that spectacular. They were just tops in turnovers. So I think that they regressed back to the mean there, and the defense is still good, but not nearly as good as it was. I think the trip though down from the metropolitan area to Miami is really what kills them.
Going down to South Beach. Going
And
to
then
help ourselves
I was gonna say, and now we're gonna travel over to the West Coast where we go to LA.
Oh, that's,
Another
a lot,
L.
that's a lot.
And this is where the game that they should lose, that they're going to win.
All right.
This is
Really?
the one. They're going to go west.
Oh,
I love the
man.
Chargers. I think that they could actually compete with the Chiefs because I think the Chiefs have some top-end talent, but I don't think that roster is as full as
It's
the
not
top-end
deep.
talent masks. And I think that the Giants go over there and are just... That defense is able to create too many problems.
Can you
that one
howl?
game.
Can you howl? Because the rest of us are going L's.
On the
I
bright
see what
side...
you did there.
On the bright side, you don't got to drink that soju at least for another week because now we got the Cowboys coming to town.
Loss.
Win. Shut up, Bourne.
And then we don't have to. At least you don't have to. So how about you let him come out of his lane for a second and tell us why he thinks that your team is going
You
to
think they're
suck
losing
against
to
the
the
Cowboys,
Cowboys
at home?
twice?
Yeah, if you go back and look at the last how many times in a row they've lost to them, it's the same thing the way I feel with the Jets and the Patriots. Until I actually see it happen, I'm gonna keep doing it. That's pretty much it. There's no football strategy to it.
How many times have the Jets beaten the Eagles?
Never.
0.
Okay, but so why do you think the Jets are going to beat the Eagles despite
Because
never
the
having
Eagles-
done it?
Because the Eagles are decimated now. They're in a terrible situation. I just feel like
You're right. Steve is the only one who said that they were going to lose that week. I want to double check. Good thing we have the scorecards. Mainly because we got some water bets we're going to eventually have to make at some point.
We don't have any water bets today, do we?
We haven't. Did we? I feel like we
We
had
have to-
some that we did not write down last week.
Yeah, definitely.
We got to go back to the record.
We're gonna have to hit the We're gonna have to
Check the tape.
crunch some tape. But so Beatty obviously sounds like he's going with a win for against the Cowboys with them coming to New York / New Jersey.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just because you hate the Cowboys or because you actually think they suck?
A combination of the two. That's roughly 50-50.
That is what two driven down the middle equates to.
Yeah, but it doesn't have to be down the middle.
I'm gonna give them
You're
a
right,
W
that's
also.
why I specified down the middle.
I think they end up evening out for their wins against each other throughout the season.
That was sort of what I was thinking too.
I don't think they get.
You have to
swept.
win your home games.
I agree with that logic. I feel like it's one of those where when you play a team twice, it's hard to win both of them, and it's easier to win at home. And I also just think the Giants. I don't know if maybe it's just me. Last year, correct me if I'm wrong. They got better as the season went on, and granted, it was because they were a new coach, a new
Definitely.
scheme, and they had to get used to each
What?
other.
That was
But
quick.
Oh, my bad. Good catch, Bourne.
But I feel like, just so, for those who aren't able to see the screen, Beatty tried to give a loss for the upcoming
I didn't do
game
anything.
at the Eagles to
I wasn't trying to do
Bourne.
anything.
But anyway, so I don't know. I just feel like that split is kind of inevitable, and so that's why I'm going that way. That's
Thanos?
Oh, the split.
Philly, that's a win.
Oh. So Beatty already has quickly marked that a win when Philadelphia comes to town. and it sounds like Andrew.
No, that's
agrees
going to
as well.
Philly.
At Philly.
That's driving an hour
Oh,
down
that's
the road.
going to Philly. It's going to the
Philly's
link.
that bad.
So winning in Philly. And
Is that still CenturyLink?
Yes.
Because the
Link.
stock has changed, and the stock is no longer CenturyLink.
Really?
Yeah. It's, I'll tell you in a second.
Well, while you look that up, I'm honestly, I know that we just said the split thing with Dallas. I think Dallas is obviously a better team than Philly.
Yeah.
And I know that I talked up little Jalen Hurts' leadership, but I think that that's only going to go so far. It honestly wouldn't surprise me if at this point some coaches start thinking they're coaching for their lives, and Joe Flacco, believe it or not, yes, Joe Flacco, starts making appearances because they think that he can at least get the ball where it's supposed to go a little more accurately. I like the fact that they brought in Devontae Smith. They had Jalen Reagor from last year. That O-line has got old
Is
very
Jalen Reagor
fast.
good?
That defense got old. That entire roster got old very fast. They sold out for that Super Bowl. They got that Super Bowl. Good for them. I think that they're paying for it now, and they're going to lose coming.
Yeah.
And they're going to lose even with the Giants being on the road.
Same reasons.
Is Jalen Reagor
I love
good?
Jalen Hurts. I think
Looks
he's
like
going
we
to
need
do
some
well,
more.
but for some reason, something tells me that the Eagles are just gonna. It's not going to be their year.
So, out of curiosity, really quickly, before we go to the next week, just talking about the Eagles, because we've been kind of trashing
Lumen
them.
Technologies.
Okay.
CenturyLink has become Lumen Technologies
Why?
on the NYSE.
Why? Who's Lumen Technologies?
I don't know.
Did you watch?
Maybe the parent
This is
company.
totally off topic, but for some reason you said lumens and then a bulb went up in my head.
I see what you did
Which are
there.
lumens.
Did you watch the presentations for new technology in the beginning of the year?
No.
By any chance?
Yep.
E3?
Did you watch Samsung?
Yep.
You did?
Mm-hmm.
Did you see the robot that they have that's coming out that'll like hand you water and shit?
Yep.
It's insane.
There's Samsung iRobots.
Yeah.
The world's
It's
going
gonna
to
be it'll be your
It's
maid.
ending soon. No, it won't. It'll be your murderer.
Well,
It'll be your assassin.
It'll be
Yes.
first your maid and then it will be your murderer.
Well, it'll be your maid, and then it'll be something that I don't want to say on camera, and then
But-
it'll be your murderer.
And they also
The
have
robot sex bots have vibrating vaginas.
I'm just saying,
Allegedly.
people who are able to afford those-
Allegedly.
People are able to afford those, are not spending money on dates, and are not getting divorced for half.
cool.
So I'm just saying.
Yeah, that's true.
like fuck that.
They ain't
No,
sitting there like Jimmy
no
Carter,
human
like,
interaction, but all of the money you earn over your lifetime. So.
Did you see the Hummer?
No, I did
You
not.
know,
No, I do my
The
best not to
electric
watch
Hummer?
people.
Electric
when
Hummer,
that's
what's it get?
happening. Oh, yeah.
3 miles to the
No,
charge?
it's phenomenal. It gets like 400 miles to the gallon.
Whatever it
They
is,
were coming out with it when I was still working
there's
at
like a
Chevy.
super button that you push, and the Hummer will drop and like start to shake and load and fucking launch itself.
Yeah, it's launch mode. And the new Corvette has some.
Yes, that's what we need to give
similar
the
shit.
general person, is the ability to launch a fucking car.
A Hummer.
No, so launch mode is how the Lamborghini Aventador does the quarter mile in like 5 seconds.
I understand that. Now let me ask you this: how much is this Hummer going to cost? Like,
100 grand, 120.
Yeah,
How much does
it's up
Lamborghini
there.
cost?
$250,000.
Yeah, there are a lot more people who are going to be able to afford that irresponsible toy using that than the people who can afford the irresponsible Lamborghini.
I'm
I must be honest.
I'm taking the new Corvette over the new Hummer.
You can do that. That's
Really?
what
Yeah.
I will too. Only because
Yeah,
I'm not.
and-
I like
and-
smaller cars.
Driving the Corvette will give me back problems because it did when I was like 23. Fuck my. It's too low to the
Damn,
ground.
you're an old man.
It's too low to the ground.
You're a
my,
month younger than me, but you are so.
my
fucking
knees
old.
and my shoulders are parallel when I'm in a Corvette. That's how low to the ground
They're
it
gonna
is.
say knees and toes, knees and toes.
I was gonna
My knees and
say-
shoulders are even. Like getting in and out of it is
I was
not
gonna say
easy.
his neck and his back.
My back was hurting
Pussy
today,
is
so I'm
crap.
glad I bought that
Yeah.
Terragun personal power massager. Support us.
Warren, you've been kind of a little silent over there. How are you feeling about this whole?
He's silent because
He's upset that I'm
we're
ripping
the
the
ones
chicken
that are
with my
drinking and
hands.
he's not.
that
No, I was just thinking about something.
One of these days we're gonna do an episode that's gonna be like Bourne's day off, where he's not gonna have work the next day, and he's gonna be the only the one that actually gets so much on this higher
You
level.
think
We'll
think
have
that's
to-
gonna happen first, or do you think we're gonna
we
get
have
like a
like
weekend
before
at
for
Borny's,
this.
and it's just gonna be Bourne falls asleep one day after a
Thank
long
you.
ass
See
day
it
of
from
work?
You see it glistening? Oh, what are you gonna do? All right, Chicago.
So we go Chicago in Chicago. Now here's a question. By this point in the season, I'm assuming that we're all on board here, but let me know if I'm wrong. Justin Fields is starting
Yes.
for the Bears.
Yes. Yes.
Like you could say he starts much earlier. That's fine.
You know what's gonna happen?
They're gonna lose.
Loss. The one that they're supposed
Well,
to win.
this is also in Chicago. This is also in Chicago, and that defense is still legit. They lost some pieces, but that team is still pretty good.
And January 2nd,
I think that team
Chicago
is coaching
gonna
away
be-
from being a potential real threat.
They're gonna be in position to make the playoffs, and this is gonna be the game that they should win, and they're gonna fuck it up. And they're gonna lose next week.
Agree.
Because they're not coming back from a loss like that.
Agree. Well, you never know in the division that they're in.
So Steve, you're going with the loss on this one too.
Yep.
I can see
So
it
with
now.
the Giants driving to
listening to
Chicago,
the
you want me to
radio
go
next
first, or
day.
you want?
I think I've given them too many wins already.
Well, if you want to take a quick look,
So for math purposes, they have to lose a few games somewhere.
I would say, just so we're clear, Beatty has them going 10-5 at this point, which is so damn optimistic.
How much of that is Homer bias right there?
I wanted to
Probably
give you
not
guys
as
shit
much
for
as
the
you
Jets
give
one,
them
but
8 wins. You're giving
You gave the Jets 8 wins last week. You think the Jets are getting 8 wins last week? They had,
I
2
do.
last year?
I was trying to be as
How
down
many
the
did the
middle
Giants
as I
have?
could.
6?
What?
How many did the Giants have? 6?
I think you should mind your own fucking business.
Yeah,
But yeah, if they
I'm
have
pretty sure this podcast is all of our business.
Yeah, the Jets
If
have
they had
2
6
wins.
Maybe
wins
not
on
our
the-
viewers at this point, but
then the Giants have the same.
Yeah.
I gave the Giants the
Yo, by
same
the way,
number of.
Don't forget, the Jets got 2 wins. They're trying to lose all of them. You guys only got 6, and you're trying to win all of them. You know what I mean?
trying to win
let those
You know what I mean?
We're trying to win most of them.
What are you talking about?
You're trying to win.
You were bitching about the Eagles throwing a game away at the end of the game. At the end of the
Well,
year.
that was a shitty
Trying
thing
to win
do.
most of them.
That was a shitty thing
that was one of the ones they were trying to win.
Play the game to
obviously.
win. See, even Zeke agrees with me. That's why he started barking.
Zeke's just heard the chicken cutting. He was
He wants Adam to
No
go up
speed
more
in
beer
the
so he can get a
neighborhood.
little more white meat.
Unfortunately for him, I got plenty, so you all need beer. It's one of your choices.
What
'cause
an
I
asshole.
already checked down here. It's only liquor.
Yeah, give him the L.
You sure?
I think they'll win the game, but I apparently gave him 2 wins earlier that I shouldn't have.
I think we. We'll take the shot of Zoju for both these last 2 weeks
Because I don't think that they're going to lose the last game of the season.
I do.
I think because before we jump there really quickly, I do think they're going to lose Chicago. Here's the thing. I think this is going to be arguably. I think Justin Fields is going to take over.
You
at
good,
some
Born?
I'm not. Let him finish his thought. Go ahead.
I think that Justin Fields will take over well before this point.
I agree.
I think this could arguably be one of his worst games.
No, you know what? I can see him being
I think
hurt.
that Joe Judge and that defense is going to be able to do something with him. I think that it's just one of those things where
I can see him being
that game where I think that they should lose, but they're going to win. I know I already had that for the Chargers. This is that one where I think they should win because I'm talking myself into it. But I'm going to more want it as a loss despite that because I do
can see
think
Justin
that
Fields
ultimately.
getting hurt or something, like a minor injury, but they keep him out because it's the end of the year and Andy Dalton just has a fucking field day and just ruins it for them.
I think it's one of those. I think the defense is going to show up. I think that the Giants' offense, though.
That is way more reasonable.
Yo, straight up, I'm going to mark it right now. This is going to be the game that's going to get Jason Garrett fired.
Ooh.
This is going to be the game. It's going to be that questionable throughout the entire season, and they're going to get so obliterated on the offensive side that Saquon goes for 30 yards.
So you think Saquon's going to be healthy at this point?
Yes, I do.
So do you
And I think he'll go 15 touches for 30-something yards total. That includes receptions and everything.
Ooh,
and if
that's rough.
he doesn't go anywhere, you know Daniel Jones ain't going to Chicago and carrying that offense against Khalil Mack.
So what's the bet?
Are we talking about
Garrett's fired before the Washington game or after the Washington game?
Well, we're talking about Chicago right now. We're going back to Washington?
Washington's next.
Oh. I think he's fired after it. Here's the thing. That's just it. I think it's that this is that game where it's they're basically writing it in the books. Why would you do it the week before? Why would you do it?
Saquon.
You're taking low-hanging fruit at that one, man.
Do the water bet for Saquon yards
That's what
then.
the safety.
Judge
Do
fired
50
his
Saquon
offensive
yards.
line coach after week 6 last year, didn't he? Something like that?
I think
Yeah, the offensive line started
You're not
getting
going to
better
get
after
fired the second to last
Right.
game.
No, I know. I was hoping you would.
No,
I was hoping you would.
it's
You
one of
said
those.
that was the game. So
This is the game that's going to be in Gettleman's mind. He's like, look, man, if I'm going to save my job, and that's a good question whether Gettleman will even be around by next year
No.
if they
This is it for him.
perform this way. But I think that this will be one of
I
those.
think he's still around.
But I do think I think that Judge honestly is the only. I think that Gettleman will be around because he chose Judge, and I think Judge will speak up for him to keep him around. I just think that now. Granted, I also don't think that I don't think Edelman's been that bad. I think he's made some very bad decisions, but I think he's made some very good ones that go a little bit underrated because of how blatant we think those bad ones are.
He's made a lot of decisions.
Like Daniel
that
Jones going at 6.
Yeah,
I know
no choice.
I don't believe this, but people disagree with Saquon going at 2. Let's just put that on pause for a quick second.
I think
Darnold obviously was not the answer. Nobody really, outside of Josh Allen and his family and the Buffalo Bills, believed in Josh Allen.
At 10, especially.
Especially 7.
7, even worse.
Josh Rosen obviously is out of the league, so that was not a good decision. And Lamar Jackson's only succeeding to this extent because that team sold out and said, we are going to build an entire goddamn team around you. That was not going to be the Giants. So the Giants drafting any quarterback after Baker Mayfield was not going to fit into a system or was viewed as such a risky proposition that a GM, it takes balls to put your eggs in the Josh Allen basket, and Bean obviously has more balls than me.
I thought Sam Darnold would have been a perfect fit for the Giants.
Because Lamar Jackson was also used some sort
Seems
of...
like it's like Andrew Thomas pick.
What's that?
He's like the Andrew Thomas pick.
Which was over Tristan Wirfs, who looked good. Actually, all 3 of those other tackles are good. Now, granted, I was a big Andrew Thomas fan, too, so I can't really say anything, but except for the fact that I might have been wrong.
I agree with you with the Giants, though. I think, Daniel Jones can be like a great pick at 6, but I think it's too soon to say that. I think we need to wait to see what happens this year before.
That's this year.
For me personally. Yeah. I think I need to see what happens this year first in order to take that kind of conclusion. That goes for a lot of teams this year. And this is a prove-it year for a lot of teams this year.
Like what,
it really
what
is.
Teams? What other teams are you thinking about?
We talk about Atlanta, right? This year's you're really going to see whether Matt Ryan is going to be he's going to be good, or is he going to be like what makes Atlanta fucking fall?
So it's a make or break year for the quarterback, not the team. Because that's a whole new head coach, a whole new GM. Like that's a very new situation.
I think you could probably say both. You could say both there. I mean, it's make or break for the Falcons. Can go all in this. They went all in this year going with Kyle Pitts, right?
Yeah, they're trying to retool as opposed to rebuild. I guess with that kind of a pick, right?
I would say that they're banking on they're going to the Super Bowl this year. If Matt Ryan doesn't pan out, then they lost that bet.
Do you think? What if you win the division?
I don't think so. I think
if you win the division,
and you trade Julio Jones, let's assume they trade Julio Jones and they win the division anyway.
Coach of the year.
I don't know if
whoever that guy is.
I don't know about that, honestly. Arthur Smith.
Far.
I don't know if I go that far, only because I think that the Falcons roster was better last year and underachieved. So I don't want to give the underachievement last year credit to the coach who now all of a sudden achieves.
I know they brought in Pitts, but still, I mean that's a hell of a job.
No, I like where you're coming from though. It's
Stevie.
I don't necessarily. It's one of those I don't necessarily agree with it.
You eat it.
You eat it.
I don't know if I agree with it, but you've got me a lot more.
A little skeptical.
You got me a lot more skeptical than I was coming into this. I was one of those where
that's
like,
all right.
I'm like, no, they have
like
nothing.
that?
They have nothing to prove.
Love it.
It's got Parmesan cheese on it.
That's good.
But you're right, from a franchise perspective, I'm not saying like the GM or the coach are on the hot seat, but this year, depending on how they perform, it's going to be incredibly pivotal whether they go in a complete rebuild starting next year, or they continue this attempt at retooling.
Reloading.
Like Bourne said.
It's a major change of direction.
All right, so before we really quickly finish this up, because obviously I really am excited for this last week, because 3 of us have them going 8-8 at this point, and there's no 500 this year with 17 games.
Oh.
So we're about to find out whether the Giants are above or below that imaginary 500 line. But before that, we had 2 weeks back to back, so Jew it up.
Well, we might have 3, so
Salute.
Find out.
Want me to go first?
yeah.
Start us off, Andrew.
Lost. They're not coming back from that terrible loss in Chicago.
Oh, you bitch! You could have waited on that.
Oh, and that's the first of the.
Man, that's a great.
That's it. That's crushing, dude. And then the fans are going to be pissed off.
Fitzmagic in week 18.
That's the week. No, this is the game.
First week 18 of Fitzmagic's life.
They're gonna make a wild card. Washington.
That's what I was gonna say.
Yeah,
Fitzmagic.
they go to
Washington makes the wild card.
He's turned it on.
So, Steve, does that mean we got a loss to the Giants on this one too?
Need a loss.
All right. Do you want? You know what? As a non-Giants fan, let me finish it off. I'm also going to loss. I think this is the one that they should. Mainly because I think this is the one that they should win, but will lose. I gave them that one at the Chargers that they should lose. This is going to be the one that they should win. Honestly, I think it is going to come down to the division. I think this division, because it always comes down to that 8. Whoever's just above 8-8, it's going to come down to this. And I'm sorry, man. It's
That
just
Bears
gonna
game
be.
is gonna fucking crush them. It's gonna be awesome.
I love your optimism, ass.
Optimism. Somebody has
I'm
on
not
10 and
trying
6
to-
before the 17.
I'm not trying to
Sounds
get
like
on,
you want to
I'm
go
not trying-
win.
I'm not trying to get under your skin. It's just great listening to the Giant fans bitch every Monday after a big loss. It's great.
Misery loves
radio.
company.
What's that?
Misery loves company.
Yeah. Trust me, no, I'm all about it.
I'm guessing BD is going with a win here, but let him speak speaks.
I thought I had some friends. I thought we were all in this
Are you
together.
gonna say that Bills are going? Are you saying the Bills are gonna go 17-0?
No, I'm not saying the Giants are going 17-0 either.
Obviously, you have it 10-6 as of now.
Yeah, I may have made a mistake or two earlier.
Or 6.
Well, go back and change it before it's official.
No, well, we're going to readdress it right before the season because that way we get a little bit more info, and then those are where the water bets are probably going to spill or fly.
Yeah, because right now we're still in OTAs. Kadarius Toney's getting the wrong size cleats and shit.
Man, I'm circling that. I am so circling that Bears game on my calendar. Anyway, go ahead.
Looks like what we know we're all doing the day after New Year's. We're watching that game.
Oh shit.
Don't worry, just because I said loss doesn't mean I won't be rooting for the Giants for you, unless it's impacting us in some way, shape, or form, which is shit.
Yeah, give me the W. I'll take 11 wins on the season. Fuck you guys.
Damn.
Wow.
So you're gonna win. So you have them pretty much winning the division. Then.
Just real quick, let's review the
I'd
Jets
take
here.
that.
The Jets ones, the optimistic Jets fans had them going 8-9 and 9-8, so around that 500 marker. And the pessimistic ones had them going more 6-11, 5-12, which are obviously the non-Jets fans. So that's on par
Realistic.
with, honestly.
The word for that is realistic.
That's on par with what I expected, honestly, from this group. But then we come over to the Giants fan going up 11 and 6.
What's wrong with that? It's 5 more wins than they had last year. There's an extra
Hot
game.
kettle, black, that whole thing.
This guy hates the first round pick so much that he's going to give them 5 more wins.
We get Nate Solder back.
Man.
We get Saquon Barkley
Where
back.
is he? Did he sign
Yeah, you
somewhere
should
else?
start
or
with
no?
that one. At least.
No, he sat out for COVID.
Getting Saquon Barkley back, you should start with that one over Nate Solder.
Well, Nate Solder blocks for Saquon.
Does he? Because he didn't last
He
year.
didn't do much year before either.
So that's gonna do it for the Giants, huh?
That's gonna do it for him.
That's gonna
we
do
got
it.
we got the 3 non-Giant fans all sitting at just under 500 at 8 and 9. I really can't wait for them to go to 18 weeks just because I want to get back to that even number.
being 500.
Like, it doesn't process in my mind that we have to think about 17 games.
It's like OCD to me that it's not even.
Especially
Yeah.
with how 16 has been the standard for most of our football fandom lives, if not all of our football fandom lives.
And I think it was all pretty much. I mean, they were 14, but that was that was back in
That was
the
the
80s.
That was OJ
days.
days.
We may have talked about this, but did they cut out a preseason game?
Yes, I think they're
There's-
down to
yeah,
3.
There's only 3 now?
Yeah.
There's only 3 now. And I'm
So if they
guessing
go to
they're gonna
18, they only go to 2?
It wouldn't surprise me. Something tells me that they wouldn't
They'll be
mind
doing
putting
this
an
next
extra.
year, I guarantee
I think
it.
they should. If you're going to 18,
You
I
put
think
a
they-
second bye week in.
That's what I'm thinking because they
And then
already.
you go back to a 16-game season, so you don't have to change any of the records. You don't have to put an asterisk. Oh, this guy ran for 2,000 yards,
No,
but he had 2
that's-
extra games.
That's not going to happen. You get too
What?
much
Kinda
TV
like
money.
the
TV money.
Mantle record.
The TV money and having the extra games. It's not about the extra bye weeks. The
Mm-hmm.
bye weeks, the reason that I'm behind that, though, is because they already are keeping the last year's rules when it comes to expanding the practice squad from 10 to 16, and they're allowing you, IR is not 8 weeks, it's now 3 weeks, and you can have any
Oh.
number of people return. They had that last year because of COVID, but I think ultimately they realized that that's just a
3-week
smart...
IR?
Yeah, but it's just a smart thing to do. Like, you want to get these good players back on the field, so why would you force teams to be restricted to have to handicap themselves and potentially put themselves in poor position for playoff pushes when just to keep this person off the field? I think ultimately you should make it easier for guys to both be kept and given jobs, whether it's practice squad or IR, as well as be able to come back because that's going to be where you get your money. Like, if Saquon was able to come back hypothetically after 3 weeks as opposed to 8, wouldn't you much rather than put him on IR,
I mean, that's
be
what-
able to get that
that's what he
roster
did
spot
2
so that
years
way they
ago.
can function? But 2 years ago, they weren't able to then put him on IR, and then after he tried to come back and hurt himself again.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
What I'm saying, though, is like you put him on IR, and now you're able to get that guy from the practice squad a little bit of time. He gets an opportunity to show something that maybe he can do. And then he ends up
It's
going
just
back.
better for everyone.
And now Sago comes back, he got some film on, the organization was able to get some talent that knew the system into the game and supposed to bring in a street guy, hoping to God that he doesn't get hurt.
How long will Saquon be healthy this season?
I think he plays... I think he put. All right. I think that they will rest him occasionally at times. I do think that.
You think he's getting hurt before or after the bye week?
I don't think he's getting. I don't think if he. I think that he'll miss some time only because like he'll get nicked up and whatnot. But I think that he will miss at most 2 games.
When's Saquon getting hurt?
Oh, you're saying a time in the season?
He's gonna
Yeah.
get hurt.
You
It's
want
just
me to pick a
when.
week?
Yeah. How long do you think he's gonna last?
I think this 7 to 9 right here is your sweet spot where he'll get hurt. They'll hold him out a little bit. He'll have
Win
that
loss,
bye to
win
go.
loss.
He'll have the bye to. I think it's one of those like he'll get hurt maybe like even during the Raiders game he'll have the bye to come back. He'll be a little hobbled for Tampa and then he'll come back for Philly.
Not with.
I don't think. he's
Like
gonna
this is
miss
me
it.
trying to put a very tangible thing on something.
When
that's
was
very
his?
abstract.
When was his injury?
It was
Week
like-
3 or
Yeah, it was super early.
3 or
last
4
year.
when we were
It was
there. It was
early
against the
last year,
Bears,
but
we
it
were
was
busting in my
later
brother's place.
in this. It was
Yeah,
after
it was
the
at
bye week.
Chicago.
The year before that.
Yeah. Wait, the first time or the second time the year before that?
So the first time he got hurt, it was after the bye week, and then the second time he got hurt was very early in the season. It was before the bye week.
He's not gonna miss significant.
All right, so then I'm going to say 10, 11, and 12.
So you're saying after the bye week?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe Saquon leaves the game. That's why they lose to the Dolphins.
I
in your
see him getting
opinion.
hurt against Miami with that heat down there. Just something happening.
Cramping up.
Yep.
Well, that's just it. Are we talking about cramps? Or are we talking about like this?
No, I'm talking.
No, he's not gonna miss
significant-
extended
missing
time.
I don't think.
significant
I
time.
don't think he's gonna miss significant time.
No, he's just gonna get. He might. I can see him coming in that game early or something, and then maybe missing the next game, and then being back for Dallas or something.
Especially because
I really hope you guys are right.
Especially with the signing of Devontae.
Are we
Booker,
betting
I
anything
think
this
they-
week or no?
No.
Well, I mean, I
All right,
like to
well.
bet, so I want to look.
Well, that's pretty much it for the Giants, right?
Yeah, 'cause I can't think of
So let's
it.
close this one out.
Well, we also got to get Rob at some point.
Yeah, we'll get Rob when he gets back from Jersey. Do the clap out shit. No, the whole good night everybody. Good night Vietnam, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Good night, Vietnam.
Hey, be safe, be smart.
Rock on.
on.
Salute.